Seattle has changed a lot since I moved here back in 2009. We've seen massive population growth over the years, a lot of changes to the infrastructure, and just the overall vibe and feel of the city has changed as well. So if I were moving here in 2026, I would probably do things a lot differently. I know a lot more now than I did back then, so let my experiences help guide you to find the perfect area. When I'm helping clients who are new to the area and moving here, we're really trying to narrow down exactly where they're going to start looking because it's such a large area. You really want to hone in on a certain closer geographic area. So there's three main questions that I ask that really help to narrow that location down. The first one is, where are you working and how long of a commute are you willing to endure? A lot of it is if you're working remote, are you working hybrid? Do you have to go in the office every day? That will greatly impact the locations that you end up looking at. Another question is, what is your lifestyle? What kind of lifestyle do you want? Do you want to be more urban, city, exciting vibe? Do you want peace and quiet out in the suburbs? So that's really going to help narrow it down as well. And then the third and probably most important question is, what is your budget and how much are you willing to spend? Because that, above all, is just really what ends up driving your search and where you're going to end up looking. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some Seattle neighborhoods and then also some Seattle suburbs. I'm going to go over some of the Seattle neighborhoods that are a little bit more popular. These are ones that a lot of people ask about when they're moving here. And then I'm going to talk about some more budget-friendly options as well, maybe places that people don't really think about or not really on their radar. And there's a couple that are probably going to end up surprising you as well. So we're going to just kind of jump right on into it. And we're going to start with the Seattle suburbs first. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is Bryant, the neighborhood of Bryant. So that is in Northeast Seattle. It's actually kind of a smaller neighborhood, not really as well known, honestly, as a lot of some of the other more popular neighborhoods in the area. But this neighborhood is very desirable in that it has a very popular elementary school, the Bryant Elementary School. People like go nuts for this school. So there's a lot of families that really want to move to the area because of that school system that it's located in. The neighborhood of Bryant doesn't really technically have a major kind of neighborhoody downtown area like some of the other neighborhoods do. Along 65th, it does have a couple different restaurants and shops there, but it's going to be a very more suburban feel. A lot of the homes are on these more quiet tree-lined streets with sidewalks, so it's a really nice, peaceful area. You also have very close access to U Village, which is an outdoor like shopping mall area. There's grocery store, there's a lot of retail shops, restaurants, coffee shops as well. So you're very close to that. You're also very close driving distance to Magnuson Park, which is over on the east portion of Seattle. It's on Lake Washington. So Magnuson Park is a huge park. They've got a dog park, there's playgrounds, there's walking trails, there's beach access. So it's a really great place to take the whole family. Bryant is fairly close to I-5. So if you're working in Seattle, you can access downtown Seattle either driving, you drive over to I-5, or it is pretty close to the UW light rail station. So you can easily go down to the light rail station, park your car, and then ride on in downtown. If you do work on the east side, Bryant has fairly easy access. Again, you would get on I-5 and then hop on over to the 520 bridge to get over to the east side. So still fairly decent transportation in that area. And like I said before, the schools are like A+. That's what really drives a lot of people to the area. Most types of homes that you're going to find in Bryant are going to be single family. There are a few condos, a few townhouses. For the most part, it is going to be single family homes. Many of them are the older 1920s, 30s style homes with a lot of character. That's what drives a lot of people to the area as well. The median home price in Bryant is $1.3 million. So definitely I wouldn't consider it a budget neighborhood, but because of this popular schools and just the popular location of it, that's where the prices jump up. The second neighborhood that I'm going to talk about is Green Lake. So Green Lake is located just north of downtown Seattle. It sits between I-5 and Highway 99. So it has easy access into downtown Seattle. It's right on a lake, Green Lake. It's a smaller lake. A lot of people swim in it. I myself would personally not swim in Green Lake, but a lot of people do. But Green Lake offers walking trails. You can go paddle boarding out on the lake, canoeing, kayaking. So a lot of outdoor activities right in that tight-knit area. Green Lake also has grocery store within walking distance. They've got coffee shops, restaurants, so it's all very self-contained in that area and a very desirable place to be. As far as transit options, there's buses that connect Green Lake to all other parts of the city. Again, as I mentioned before, it's right between I-5 and 99, so it's pretty easy access to get downtown via I-5 or 99 if you're working downtown, or if you are working on the east side and want to live in Green Lake, you can hop on I-5 pretty quick and get on 522 bridge. Again, traffic is never good during rush hour in the city, so you're going to be dealing with that, but you do have access to the Roosevelt Light Rail Station, which is not too far from Green Lake, where you can hop on that and take that into downtown Seattle as well. The schools in Green Lake are part of Seattle Public Schools system, which they get rated about an A. So again, the schools are a big draw for people in the area. They're very highly rated. Green Lake offers all variety of housing options. They've got condos, they've got townhouses, and they have single family homes. The single family homes, the classic Green Lake style home is more of the turn of the century, the older style with all of the oozing with charm. A lot of the homes overlook the lake, so you can find some really beautiful historic style homes in the area. And then they do have new construction townhouses popping up all over the place as well, and then a lot of condo buildings too. So you get quite the mix in Green Lake from all different types of housing. The median home price in Green Lake is about $1,050,000. So again, a lot of single family homes are going to cost you upwards of $1 million. But like I said before, Green Lake has a lot of those townhouses that bring the prices down slightly because it is a desirable neighborhood. The third neighborhood that I'm going to talk about is down south, and that is Beacon Hill. So Beacon Hill is one that is still fairly popular. You definitely get a lot more for your money in Beacon Hill. It really covers a large area. It's just south of I-90 and south of downtown Seattle. So Beacon Hill, if you look on a map, it just really stretches. You've got North Beacon Hill, and South Beacon Hill. So it really encompasses a really large area. Beacon Hill is home to Jefferson Park, which is a very large park that has a lot of trails and walking trails, and it also has a golf course, and there's a huge driving range right there. So you drive by, you'll see like people practicing their swing. So if you're into golf, Beacon Hill can be a really great place. Beacon Hill has a very neighborhoody vibe. It's fairly walkable. It's got the main neighborhood kind of drag along Beacon Ave, where you'll find a grocery store, lots of different restaurants, coffee shops as well. It also has a light rail station in Beacon Hill, so it's located right around that kind of like downtown area where you'll be able to get to and from downtown Seattle. It also borders I-90 up to the north of it, so if you're working on the east side, Beacon Hill is really easy to just pop on I-90 right there and get over to the east side. We also have the East Side Connection light rail that's going to be opening in March of 2026 this year. So once that's open, Beacon Hill, you can pop on the light rail in Beacon Hill. I think you'll have to end up transferring to go east, but you can transfer to the other line to connect you to east, so that can be a really easy access point for you to get to the east side if you're working over there. Same thing with downtown Seattle, you just stay on the light rail and you're up in downtown Seattle, really easy. It also borders I-5, so again, if you want to drive and you don't want to use public transit, you can hop on I-5 fairly easily as well. The schools in Beacon Hill are still part of the Seattle Public Schools system. The ratings are anywhere from A to C on niche.com, so maybe not full-blown A++ like you're seeing in some of the other neighborhoods, but still very decent ratings for schools, so that drives a lot of families to the area as well. There's a pretty decent mix of some condos, a lot of townhouses we're seeing pop up in Beacon Hill, and then a lot of single family homes. That's the majority of the homes that we see in the area. The mid-century homes are very popular in the Beacon Hill area. We also see a decent amount of multi-generational living down in Beacon Hill, so you can find sometimes either multifamily housing or houses with ADUs, which are accessory dwelling units, where there's a second kitchen maybe downstairs that you could either rent out or grandma could come live there. So you see a lot of those in the Beacon Hill area as well. The median home price in Beacon Hill is $750,000. The fourth area / neighborhood that I'm going to talk about is White Center. So White Center is just southwest of downtown Seattle. It sits just south of West Seattle and north of Burien. One thing people may not realize is White Center is not technically part of the city of Seattle. It is part of unincorporated King County. So with that, you get a slightly lower sales tax rate there. Not a huge difference to really make a huge difference of living there, but you do get that. And then you are part of the county fire department services White Center. White Center has been a very up and coming neighborhood over the past several years. They have a little downtown strip area. There's a lot of different restaurants, bars that are really popular. A lot of people in West Seattle end up going down there. It's kind of come out on the scene as more of like this foodie paradise. There's just a great mix of different restaurants and different styles of food there. So definitely something worth checking out, even if you don't end up living down there. There's a ton of great new restaurants and bars in the area. It's also home to quite a few local parks within the neighborhood, and then also just a quick drive out to Ceola Beach and Seahurst Park in Burien, which are both on the waterfront and beautiful, huge, large parks to get to. So easy access to those parks from White Center. There is no light rail access in White Center, so it does take a little bit longer to get places. White Center, since it is in West Seattle, if you are working in Bellevue or the east side, it's going to be a pretty hefty journey to get over there. You got to cross the West Seattle Bridge and then pop on I-90. Can be done, people do it, but it is going to be a long haul. It's a little bit better if you're working in downtown Seattle. You can get there a little bit quicker. You can either drive or take transit as well. One thing to note in White Center, you are very close to the SeaTac airport. So if you're traveling a lot or need access to that airport pretty quickly, you can get there in about 10-15 minute drive or even a good 15-20 minute transit journey there. White Center is part of the Highline School District. It is not part of Seattle Public Schools. It's part of the Burien School District, which is Highline. They get rated a C on niche.com. White Center has a pretty decent mix of housing. It's mostly going to be single family houses, but we are seeing a lot of new construction townhouses and more like new construction communities popping up with just rows and rows of townhouses. So those can be great options for people on a budget. The median home price in White Center is $690,000. So White Center is definitely worth checking out, especially if you are working in the downtown Seattle area. So next we are going to move on to Seattle suburbs. So I'm going to talk about, again, a few that are pretty popular, well-known, people usually ask about them, and then give some more budget-friendly options as well. So the first suburb that we're going to talk about, very popular area, is Kirkland, Washington. Kirkland is located on the east side. So if you're not familiar with the area, the east side is considered the eastern side of Seattle across Lake Washington. Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, Issaquah are located on the east side. So Kirkland is just north of Bellevue. It sits right on Lake Washington. It's a really desirable area. It's got a really, really cute downtown area right on the water. A little downtown area with beach access. The downtown has, again, a lot of shops, really walkable, cute, charming little area. Beyond downtown Kirkland, you will come across Totem Lake, which is a kind of shopping center area that is just east of downtown Kirkland along 405. It's a newer development where they've built a lot of new retail shops, grocery stores, and they are building some condos and housing there as well. So that can be another option for people if they're not wanting to be right downtown, but another kind of more this pre-made walkable area. Kirkland is also home to Juanita Beach Park and Juanita Bay. So these are both parks that are along Lake Washington. Really large parks, easy access to get to. You can walk around, different walking trails, hiking, and beach access as well. Kirkland is located right along 405, which is your north-south route throughout the east side. You can access Bellevue through 405. It also has 520 bridge that is running east and west. So that can be accessed into Seattle if you are working in Seattle and living in Kirkland. The schools in Kirkland get an A+ on niche, so that's a big draw for people wanting to move to the area as the highly rated schools. Kirkland offers the full mix of housing. You've got condos, townhouses, and single family homes. Right down near the downtown area, you can find some of those more classic style older homes, but a good portion of Kirkland is very suburban with the 70s, 80s kind of split level or rambler style homes that you see throughout. There's also a lot of new construction development happening in Kirkland, whether it's townhouses or single family homes, and those are just kind of peppered all throughout the city. The median home price in Kirkland is $1.6 million, so absolutely prices have gone up because it is such a desirable place to be. The next number 6 area that I'm going to talk about is Edmonds, Washington. So Edmonds is just northwest of downtown Seattle. It sits right along the water of Puget Sound. It's got a really charming, cute little downtown area. Again, lots of cute retail shops, stores, restaurants. It's right on the water. The ferry terminal that connects it to Kitsap County is up in Edmonds, so you can sit, enjoy your coffee, watch the ferry go by. You've got beachfront access and parks also along Edmonds right there. So it's just a really cute, quaint little place to call home. It's part of the Edmonds School District, and they have pretty decent schools. They get a B rating in schools on niche, so a lot of families move to the area. Because Edmonds sits west along the water, it's a little further off from I-5. It can take a little bit of time, especially during traffic, to get on I-5. I feel like every single time that I'm in Edmonds and trying to get to I-5, it just seems like it takes forever to get onto the freeway. Maybe it's not that bad, but it's just something to consider if you are commuting either north or south, or even over onto the east side. Edmonds can be a little bit far removed, and access to I-5 can seem to take a while. It's probably honestly not that bad, but it just always seems like it takes forever. Another option to get into Seattle is through the Sounder train. They have a stop in Edmonds. It's the commuter train that goes into downtown Seattle. The Sounder train stops down in King Street Station, down kind of south of Pioneer Square. So if you're working in that downtown core, that can be an option for you to get into downtown Seattle. Otherwise, you're going to be driving and fighting traffic on I-5. As far as housing in Edmonds, we've got the full mix in Edmonds. You've got condos, townhouses, and single family homes. Again, once you get out of that downtown core, it definitely gets a lot more suburban in areas. There are certain parts of Edmonds that sits kind of higher up on like a little bluff, so you can get some really great water view homes in the area, but you see a lot of more of those older Rambler style homes in Edmonds. The median home price in Edmonds is $1.059 million. So definitely on that higher scale. I think you can absolutely find things lower than $1 million in Edmonds, especially if you're looking at a smaller style home. So there is a pretty decent mix, but you do have a lot of those sought after water view and waterfront properties that do bring that median home price up. So the next suburb that I'm going to talk about is Monroe, Washington. So Monroe, if you just kind of go east, it sits northeast of downtown Seattle. It's located in Snohomish County. Monroe is a pretty small town, and it's kind of just up in its own little area. It got really popular over the pandemic years from people that were working on the east side and Bellevue area. Prices were going up there, so a lot of people moved up to Monroe because prices were a lot cheaper in the area. So we've seen a lot of growth there. Monroe has a really cute historical downtown area, kind of more of that like Old West vibe in Monroe. It's got the Evergreen Speedway, which is a racetrack around there. So if you're into car racing, you can hit up that speedway. It also has a reptile zoo. So it has very easy access to the North Cascades. That area can get pretty bogged down with traffic, especially in the summertime when everybody's taking Highway 2 to get out to the mountains and go camping. So the housing that you are going to see in Monroe is mostly going to be single family housing. There's not really a lot of condos, maybe a very few handful, but you're really going to find mostly single family homes. It has a very suburban vibe, and then even bordering into the rural. So if you want lots of land and acreage, you can absolutely find it in Monroe, along with also more of the newer housing development cookie cutter style homes in the area. It is part of the Monroe School District, which they get a B+ rating on niche.com. So again, pretty decent school ratings. And the median home price in Monroe is $770,000. So like I said before, Kirkland's 1.5, Monroe 770. So you get quite a big break there, especially if you're working on the east side and you want a little bit cheaper housing. Monroe is definitely worth checking out. So the next suburb that I'm going to talk about, we're going to go down south. It's going to be Maple Valley. So Maple Valley sits southeast of downtown Seattle, and southeast, it's kind of more directly south of Issaquah and part of the east side. Maple Valley doesn't really have a dedicated downtown area. It really just started booming and growing just to be basically like a suburb of the east side and Seattle. So there are plans to build a little more kind of central downtown area, but right now it's mostly just like a strip, and you've got your grocery stores and a few strips, mall stores in the area. It doesn't really have a huge identity, but they are working on that to make a cute little downtown area. Maple Valley has easy access to hiking on Tiger Mountain and also Lake Wilderness Park. It sits just right along Highway 18 and 167. So both of those, Highway 18 you can take to I-5 to connect you to I-5, and you can also connect up to through Highway 18. 167 will go basically directly north and connect you to 405 to get onto the east side in that area. So it can kind of be a really good in-between for people. If say one person works in Seattle, one person works in Bellevue, you can access it that way. It is going to be a really long commute into Seattle or Bellevue, the east side. Transit options, there is buses and transit. There's no light rail out there. There are transit options, but it's going to be long and you're going to have to make multiple transfers. It's not really the best bet. So most people do drive who are in the area, and that drive is long too. So it's probably better if you maybe work in the office a couple days a week, or maybe work fully remote. It can be a good option. People absolutely commute every day from there, but it's long. It's long. Maple Valley is part of the Tahoma School District, which scores an A in niche.com. So good schools have drawn a lot of people to the area. It's mostly going to have a suburban and even rural feel. Again, it's mostly going to be single family homes, kind of similar to Monroe, not really any condos to speak of. There are some of those more kind of like duplex style townhomes where they're connected. They're not like full-blown condos or apartments. They're more single family living, but they are connected. So you do see those in Maple Valley, but for the most part, you're gonna see the suburban style new construction housing developments all around in that area. You can also find some other housing developments in Maple Valley that have larger lots. Like a lot of the newer construction ones are very packed in and very tight, but there are a few in the area that have larger lot sizes that feel a little bit more rural. And then even if you want to get out of all that new construction development in Maple Valley, you can move out and find some acreage in the area as well. The median home price in Maple Valley is $775,000. So again, a little more similar to maybe up in Monroe. You get that break from that east side living, but can still connect there somewhat easily. The next area, number 9, that I'm going to talk about is Renton, Washington. So Renton sits just kind of southeast of downtown Seattle and just south of Bellevue area. It's one of the more well-known suburbs, I think, just because it's close proximity to Seattle. It pops up on a lot of people's radar. It has a more kind of historic downtown area that's really cute. They've really been working on kind of revamping that area over the last several years and really adding a lot more to do there, getting more people down in that area. There is the Cedar River that runs kind of through the downtown area. So you walk along, there's bridges you can cross, there's really nice walking paths along there. It can be a really nice, peaceful area to walk through. Renton is also home to the Landing, which is one of those new kind of outdoor mall areas that has a lot of retail and shopping options as well. The Landing also sits pretty close to the Boeing factory in Renton. A lot of people may not know. So if you're working in that Boeing facility, Renton, it's right there. It could be a good option for you. It's also home to the Maplewood Golf Course. So if you're into golfing, you got golfing there. Also can't forget to mention IKEA. It's home to IKEA, so you want to go shopping, get some meatballs, get some furniture that takes 10 years to assemble. IKEA is your jam, so it's right around there. There's a lot of shopping, a lot of strip malls in Renton. The schools are part of the Renton School District. They get rated a B on niche.com. There is a part of Renton, a very small part on the eastern part of Renton, that is part of the Issaquah School District, which Issaquah gets like an A+. So those homes in that Issaquah School District, you'll see selling for a little bit more than other areas of Renton because it's part of that school district. Just something to keep in mind if you're looking and you're like, why is this neighborhood so much more expensive? It's because of that school district. As far as transit, Renton has buses that will get you. You can get into Seattle and into Bellevue. You can also, if you're commuting into Seattle, there is the light rail just kind of over in Seattle that you can pop on and get into Seattle easily that way if you're wanting to go that route. So Renton does sit just kind of in the little section of where I-5 and 405 connect. So you do have easy access on the freeways to Seattle or to the east side. So in Renton, especially in the downtown area, you will find a lot of older, more historic looking homes. But then once you move out, it does get very, very suburban. And again, you'll find some of the older suburban neighborhoods from like the 70s and 80s, and then you'll find a lot of like newer construction neighborhoods popping up as well. So it's a pretty decent mix again of housing. Renton is still its own large city in and of itself. So you've got condos, you've got townhouses, you've got single family homes. And just a note, the newer construction homes that they're building in Renton typically are going to be smaller lots. They're going to be jammed in there versus if you're looking at some of the older type of suburbs in the area, you're going to get slightly bigger lots in those more like 1980s, 90s types of homes. The median home price in Renton is $740,000. So again, it can be a good in between from Bellevue or some of the Seattle neighborhoods. The next town / suburb that I'm going to talk about is Kent, Washington. So Kent Kent, again, is located just south of Seattle, even south of Renton, where I was just talking about. It's got an older historic downtown area, and then it does also have, again, another outdoor mall area called Kent Station. It is home to the ShoWare Center, which houses the minor league hockey team. They also have different concerts and events going on at the ShoWare Center. It's also home to the Green River. There's a lot of hiking trails around there. You also have easy access to Sue's Creek Trail, Lake Meridian. Also, the Meridian Valley Country Club is located there, so another hot spot if you're into golfing. Check that out. The schools are part of the Kent School District. They rate a B on niche.com. So schools are still pretty decently rated and draw some families to the area. As far as transit options, they have the light rail station has opened up in Kent as well. So that's just been a really great connector to get into Seattle. Kent is a pretty big section, so if you're more on Western Kent, you have a lot easier access to I-5 and the light rail station to get up into Seattle, but it also borders along 167 again as well, just like Renton, so you can access the east side from Kent fairly easily as well. Kent has a pretty wide mix of housing. You've got condos, you've got townhouses, you've got single family homes, and then again, you can even get some more rural, larger parcels of land in Kent as well. The downtown area, you can find some of those older historic homes. And then again, somewhat similar to Renton, you're gonna find the more suburban style homes that are a little more spread out, maybe the 80s, 90s, and those Rambler style homes. The median home price in Kent is $645,000. So quite a bit difference from even Renton that we see. So you can get more bang for your buck in Kent. So it's definitely worth checking out. So the last and final area that we're gonna talk about, and this is one that probably is not on a lot of people's radar. It's definitely off the beaten path, but I still think it's worth mentioning because the housing prices there are so good compared to Seattle and the east side, and that is the city of Bremerton. So Bremerton sits west of Seattle in Kitsap County. Kitsap County gets overlooked a lot when people are moving to the area because it is across the water. It's mostly accessed via ferries. You can drive around to Kitsap, but it is a very long, very not fun drive, especially during rush hour. So ferries are going to be your friend in this area. But Bremerton can be a great place, especially if you are working in Seattle, probably not the east side. If you're working on the east side, like kind of forget it. It's going to be way too far. But if you're working in Seattle, and especially if you're working in Seattle maybe 2 to 3 days a week, or you are more fully remote or don't have to check in the office as much, Kitsap County and the city of Bremerton can be a great option for you. It's home to the Naval Shipyard, and then it's home to a military base as well, Bangor Military Base. So you do see a fairly decent amount of turnover in that city because we get a lot of people stationed out and then they're moving out. So when you're searching for homes in the area, you will see kind of high turnover in that area. Something just to be aware of. Doesn't necessarily mean that the homes have an issue. It's just the nature of that area. So the city of Bremerton has a really charming downtown area. They put a lot of work over the years into kind of revitalizing the downtown area. They've added Quincy Square, which is a portion that they'll block off from car traffic and have street festivals. There's an outdoor kind of amphitheater stage there as well. So it's definitely an area that's really starting to become a little bit more revitalized, and it has that kind of small town feel to it. There are plenty of retail shops and restaurants in the downtown area, and then just north up in Silverdale, you have all of your big box retail establishments, Costco, Trader Joe's, those sort of things. So it's easy access to most of everything that you're gonna need. The city of Bremerton has several city parks peppered throughout. It also has very easy access to the Olympic Peninsula and also Hood Canal. So if you're an avid nature lover, it's really easy to get here. You don't have to deal with traffic like you do in Seattle or the east side when you're trying to get out of the area. Like you can just be stuck in traffic forever trying to get to some of these hiking trails, and then they're just like full of people. Kitsap County is a lot more secluded, a lot lower population densities, so it's a lot easier to get around. And when you go on some of these trails, you're still going to see people there, but it can be a little bit more remote, so it's definitely a draw for a lot of people. Local transit, as far as local transit in Bremerton, not the greatest, but if you are living in Bremerton and you need to get into Seattle, the ferry is going to be the best way to do that. So Bremerton is serviced by the Washington State Ferry, which is a long ferry. You can drive your car on that. That's an hour-long ferry. Then they also have the Kitsap fast ferries, which are smaller vessels, which just are passenger only. Those are 30 minutes. Those are really geared toward the commuter, and they drop off right in downtown. So if it's something, again, if you are commuting into Seattle, ferries are going to be the way to do it, and especially those fast ferries. So one thing about the ferry system, you are beholden to those ferries. You have to make them on time. So the Washington State ferries, sometimes they get delayed. Sometimes a vessel breaks down and they're down to one vessel. So it can be kind of a grind if you're doing it every single day, but absolutely a pretty decent option if you only have to go into the city 1 or 2 or 3 times a week. You can drive into Seattle from Bremerton. However, you got to drive down through Tacoma and then back around. So that drive is just horrendous. It's not worth it, especially when there's rush hour traffic. Bremerton also has fairly easy access to Tacoma. So if you're living in Bremerton and wanting more of the big city things, you're not wanting to deal with the ferries, Tacoma is about 30-40 minute drive from Bremerton as well. Bremerton schools are part of the Bremerton School District. They get a C+ rating on niche.com, so probably not the best that we've seen on this list, but some people are willing to trade that off for the affordable housing prices in the area. And Bremerton has a pretty wide mix of housing. It's a smaller town, so they've got a lot of the older, more kind of historic style homes. In the downtown area that you'll see, there's a lot of new construction popping up all over the area with newer housing developments as well. There's a decent amount of condos in Bremerton right around the ferry terminal in the downtown area especially. Townhouses haven't really caught on so much in Bremerton. There are a few random ones here and there, but again, they're just not really as popular as single family homes in the area. The homes in Bremerton are cheap enough that you don't really kind of need that townhouse in between. So the median home price in Bremerton is $489,000. So totally different than any of the other areas that we've seen, but the trade-off is you're a little bit further out. It's just kind of a different vibe over in Bremerton and in Kitsap. So Bremerton is definitely somewhere worth taking a look, especially with those home prices being just, literally half or a third of some of the other more popular areas that we've been seeing. So those are some neighborhoods and suburbs/cities that I think are worth looking into in 2026. So if you are thinking of moving to the Seattle metro area this year or anywhere in the future, we love helping you. We can't help unless you reach out. So give us a call, give us an email, give us a text. Don't go it alone. We got your back when you're moving to Seattle.